GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, Montreal. I'm Lauren Dupuis. A downtown demolition collapse left no injuries, and the city is rolling out new flood defenses after recent flash floods. Expect minor traffic delays on construction zones and tonight's celebrations for La Fête Nationale du Québec. Over to you, Ryan.
Carey Price has been elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame as part of the 2026 class.
The Canadiens Legends induction will be celebrated at the Hall of Fame ceremony later this year, honoring his career achievements.
His induction follows a recent retirement after 17 seasons, during which he won 2 Stanley Cups and a Vezina Trophy.
All right, let's get into it, starting with today's headlines and the stories that matter to Montrealers this morning. Good morning, Montreal. Firefighters responded to a collapse at a demolition site on Tuesday afternoon at the corner of St. Denis Street and René Lévesque Boulevard. The structure, already being taken down, gave way unexpectedly, sending debris onto the sidewalk. Authorities confirmed that no one was injured despite the sudden failure of the building. Emergency crews secured the area, cleared the rubble, and began a safety inspection of nearby properties. The incident has prompted a review of demolition protocols in the downtown core, with officials saying they will assess whether additional precautions are needed. Residents and workers in the vicinity were asked to stay clear while investigators piece together the cause of the collapse. The city will release a full report once the site is fully examined. According to the fire department, the failure occurred during the middle of the planned demolition phase. The location will stay cordoned off while investigators finish their assessment.
Yesterday, Bedford School kept its doors open while most island schools shuttered for summer, hosting a farewell ceremony for teachers. As the final bell rang, students gathered in the gymnasium and were treated to steaming plates of classic poutine, golden fries smothered in rich gravy and squeaky cheese curds. The dish served as a tasty reward for a year of hard work and as a sweet send-off before the long break. Teachers received heartfelt thanks and a round of applause, while pupils exchanged hugs and shared stories of the past 12 months. Parents who arrived later in the afternoon joined the celebration, adding to the lively atmosphere. Local volunteers helped set up the tables and the cafeteria staff prepared the gravy on site, ensuring everything was fresh. The school hopes the memorable meal will linger in students' minds until they reconvene in the fall.
Tennis Canada revealed on Tuesday its plan to construct a brand new tennis stadium in the city, complete with a retractable roof that will allow matches to continue regardless of weather. The announcement follows growing pressure from the professional circuit to provide venues that meet modern standards for player safety and spectator comfort. Officials say the facility will be designed to host higher-level tournaments, giving Canadian players a home court advantage and offering fans the chance to see world-class tennis year-round. While details on financing and timeline are still being worked out, Tennis Canada emphasized that the stadium will boost the sport's profile and support the development of the next generation of Canadian talent. The venue will sit in a central neighborhood with easy access to nearby transit, creating jobs during construction and positioning the city for future ATP and WTA Tour events.
Today's Quebec national holiday brings a wave of closures across the city. All provincial government offices, including the City Hall and borough administrations, remain shut. Provincial courts and the police headquarters operate on limited staff with routine services suspended. Banks, credit unions, and the Canada Post network will not process transactions or mail. Most schools, both primary and secondary, are on break, and many university libraries will be closed. Public libraries, museums, and cultural venues such as the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts and Place des Arts are also closed. Retail chains, grocery stores, and independent boutiques are expected to keep their doors locked, as are many restaurants and cafes that honor the holiday. Transportation services run on a reduced schedule, with STM buses and Metro operating on holiday timetables. Residents planning errands should expect limited availability today.
Health Canada seized low-pressure hyperbaric chambers from Arthur Tétrault wellness centers throughout Quebec on June 20th. The devices, which had never received certification for medical use, were removed after the regulator warned that they posed safety risks. The action follows a public advisory issued 2 days earlier, when Health Canada cautioned the public about wellness centers marketing treatments with non-approved hyperbaric equipment. Officials said the chambers do not meet the standards required for therapeutic use and could expose users to harmful pressure variations. The seizure aims to prevent further exposure, while investigations continue into how the unapproved units entered the market. Consumers who have used similar devices are advised to consult health professionals for guidance. The agency also announced that it will increase inspections of wellness facilities province to ensure compliance with device regulations. It reminded providers that only devices approved by Health Canada may be marketed for therapeutic purposes. Stay tuned, because Emma Maltese just inked a 2-year contract with the Victoire, a game-changing move for local hockey fans. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're feeling refreshed. Let's dive into today's headlines before Ryan Mercer brings you the latest local stories.
Emma Maltese has inked a 2-year contract with the Montreal Victoire, the league's defending champions, after 3 seasons with the Scepters. The signing was announced on June 23rd, and it secures one of the team's top forwards for the upcoming campaigns. Victoire officials said Maltese's speed and scoring touch will add depth to a roster already stacked with talent, and fans can expect to see her on the ice as soon as preseason training begins. The move marks a homecoming for the Quebec-born forward, who grew up watching the Victoire championship runs. Local ticket holders will find her name on the roster for the next 2 seasons, and the club expects her presence to boost attendance at games across the province. The Professional Women's Hockey League will see the Victoire defend their title with Maltese in the mix.
Former Quebec soldier pleaded guilty Tuesday to 7 firearms-related offenses tied to a violent extremism probe. The former military member, arrested in 2025 during a Royal Canadian Mounted Police investigation of a suspected terrorism facilitating network, admitted to possessing illegal weapons and controlled materials. The plea covers 7 of 11 total charges laid against him. Authorities say 3 other men remain facing accusations of facilitating terrorism. The RCMP said the case stems from a broader effort to dismantle extremist cells operating in the province. Legal analysts note the guilty plea could lead to a sentencing phase later this year, though details remain pending. Police monitor the network and have not disclosed whether suspects are under investigation. The case adds to a series of prosecutions curbing the flow of illegal arms within the province.
Saturday, June 20th, the city announced a new flood defense program for the West Island after a series of flash floods submerged dozens of homes. Officials said the latest deluge marked the 4th time residences have been flooded since 2017, prompting municipal leaders to fast-track additional sponge parks and retention basins. The plan calls for strategically placed green spaces that absorb excess water and engineered basins designed to hold runoff during heavy storms. City engineers will coordinate with West Island municipalities to prioritize vulnerable neighborhoods and integrate the measures into existing infrastructure. The initiative aims to reduce future damage and protect families from the kind of sudden inundation that forced many to evacuate their homes last weekend. Construction is slated to begin later this year, with completion targeted before the next rainy season.
Heavy rain over the weekend of June 20th and 21st sent floodwaters rushing through Rue Fox in Pierrefonds. Dozens of homes were submerged, forcing residents to pull furniture, clothing, and electronics from soggy basements. By Monday, June 22nd, neighbors were out with mops, buckets, and pumps, scrubbing floors and drying belongings while volunteers handed out sandbags and dry towels. The flood marks the 3rd inundation this year for the Pierrefonds-Roxborough area, underscoring how repeated storms are straining local infrastructure. Utility crews inspected wiring and reported no major outages, but warned of lingering moisture that could affect appliances. Community centers opened their doors to provide temporary storage for salvaged items, and local charities delivered cleaning supplies to families still coping with the damage. City emergency officials monitored the situation and coordinated with fire services to ensure safety during the cleanup.
After a storm dumped more than 150 millimeters of rain on June 22nd, the West Island woke to streets turned rivers and homes under waist-deep water. Residents have spent the day pulling back floodwater with pumps and shovels, hauling mud and broken furniture from driveways and basements. City officials arrived with sandbags and portable generators, coordinating crews to clear culverts and reinforce vulnerable sections of the drainage network. Neighborhood volunteers set up temporary staging areas to sort debris, while municipal workers inspected bridges for structural damage. Authorities warned that the deluge may return later this season and urged planners to prioritize flood prevention upgrades. The combined effort aims to restore access to schools, businesses, and transit routes before the weekend, reducing disruption for commuters and families alike. Officials hope the swift response will limit long-term damage for local households.
Now let's turn to the forecast and see what the day holds for Montreal with our weather team.
Let's step outside and see what Montreal's sky has in store for us this beautiful Tuesday morning. On this date, the all-time high reached 35.6 Celsius back in 2025, a brief surge that rode a stubborn ridge of warm air from the Great Lakes. The record low was 11.5 Celsius set in 2016 during an unusually early cold snap that slipped down from a polar vortex dip. By contrast, the climatological normals hover around 23 Celsius for the high and 15 Celsius for the low, reminding us that today sits comfortably between those extremes. Right now it feels like 15 Celsius with partly cloudy skies, humidity holding at 83%, and a gentle 5 kilometers per hour breeze. By mid-morning the temperature will climb to 19 Celsius and the clouds will clear, giving us a crisp sunrise. Midday brings 22 Celsius and mainly clear conditions, perfect for a quick coffee run. Afternoon clouds thicken to overcast around 3, nudging the mercury to 23 Celsius, but the wind remains modest at 18 kilometers per hour from the west. Evening will stay clear at 23 Celsius, and with a UV index of 5, there's no heightened sun risk. No weather alerts are in effect, so you can plan your day with confidence as we move to the 5-day outlook. Looking ahead, Wednesday will be overcast with a high of 24 Celsius and a low of 15, keeping the city in a gentle blanket of cloud. Thursday introduces a chance of rain, 40%, while temperatures ease to 23 Celsius high and 16 low, so a light jacket might be wise. Friday sees a similar rain probability at 70%, but the high will be 22 Celsius and the low 17, making it feel milder despite the showers. Saturday brightens with clear skies, a high of 25 Celsius and a low of 16, and only a 20% chance of rain, great for outdoor plans. Sunday caps the week with another clear day, high 26 Celsius and low 16, offering a warm finish to the weekend. Forecast. That wraps up the 5-day picture. A mix of overcast mornings, scattered rain chances, and a steady climb toward a sunny, warm weekend. Stay tuned for any updates and enjoy the evolving spring weather across Montreal.
Up next, Traffic Snarls, the KIZO Fest Buzz, Carey Price's Hall of Fame induction, and a fast-growing plant-based brand spotlight. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Major congestion today on the Pont de l'Île-aux-Courts. A serious blockage forces traffic to a crawl and detours are in place across the southwest corridor. Expect delays of up to 15 minutes for anyone heading toward the South Shore. On Autoroute des Carrés, a major hindrance between the des Carrés interchange and Rue Jean Talon adds another bottleneck, with stop-and-go conditions during the morning rush. The segment between Rue Shai Arbrook and Kemin Queen Mary is also slowed by a minor obstruction, but traffic is still moving. Autoroute Métropolitaine near Boulevard Lacordaire sees a light slowdown, while Route 116 resurfacing between Saint Bruno de Montarville and Longueuil creates steady queues at the western exit. In Lavaltrie, the Autoroute 31 overpass over Autoroute 40 remains under reconstruction, so allow extra time on that interchange. On transit, the STM runs on a holiday schedule this morning, so trains run less frequently and some bus routes are reduced. Plan ahead, stay patient, and keep an eye on updates.
Today Montreal bursts into celebration with La Fête Nationale du Québec at Parc Maisonneuve, where music, fireworks, food trucks, and family activities fill the streets, and live bands set up on every corner, giving you a perfect reason to linger outdoors and soak up the summer spirit. If you're craving spectacle, head to the Old Port where Cirque du Soleil debuts Echo Under the Big Top, a new show that blends acrobatics, technology, and a dazzling light display, promising an unforgettable night for the family. For electronic dance lovers, KIZO Fest Montreal runs at the Delta Hotel, offering 3 days of Afro House, Kizomba, Urban Kiz, and Semba beats, plus local food vendors, a chance to discover fresh rhythms and dance till dawn. And looking ahead, the Festival International de Jazz kicks off tomorrow in the Quartier des Spectacles, with nearly 1,000 concerts, from intimate club sets to bustling outdoor stages, many free, so keep your calendar open for the city's biggest music party. And now here's Tyler with sports.
A Montreal legend is heading to hockey's highest honor. Carey Price is going to the Hockey Hall of Fame. The Montreal Canadiens goaltending great was elected to the 2026 class on Monday, June 22nd, joining Patrice Bergeron, Pekka Rinne, Keith T. Tkachuk, and Cindy Curley in the player category. According to CBC Sports, it is a long-awaited moment for one of the franchise's most iconic figures. The PWHL has revealed the selection order for its 2026 draft, according to Sportsnet. The announcement came 2 days before the draft itself, giving teams and fans a clearer picture of how the day will unfold. Details on which team holds which pick have not yet been specified in the report. The Canadiens' playoff run is over. Carolina's Logan Stankoven scored one of 3 first-period goals in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final, and the Hurricanes eliminated Montreal, advancing to the Stanley Cup Final. That report comes from CBC Sports.
VG, on the Plateau Mont-Royal, has turned a modest home kitchen into a national plant-based brand. After years of perfecting their dairy-free cheeses and sauces, the founders secured a new production facility that will soon hum with dozens of local hires. The expansion was highlighted on Global News, showcasing how a small team can scale up without losing the community focus that sparked their recipes. With shelves now stocked from Quebec to the Atlantic provinces, Montrealers gain more healthy, sustainable options right at home. This growth means not just jobs, but a reminder that our neighborhood innovators can feed the whole country. VG proves the Plateau's spirit can nourish Canada. And later, we'll share how VG grew from a humble kitchen experiment to a national plant-based brand. A true Montreal success story.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local Sunset Montreal's evening newscast.
On St. Laurent Boulevard, just a few blocks from the bustling metro station, a handful of retirees gathered early this morning beside the historic stone facade of the former firehouse. With coffee cups steaming and garden gloves in hand, they were joined by a troop of elementary school students from nearby École St. Luc, ready to turn an empty lot into a burst of color. The air filled with the scent of fresh soil as Mrs. Tremblay, 82, carefully placed a young tomato seedling into a raised bed she'd built herself. Beside her, 12-year-old Maya slipped a bright orange marigold into the same row, laughing when the seedling wobbled but steadied under her gentle touch. A local artist, sketching on a portable easel, captured the moment, the crinkled hands of the seniors, the eager faces of the children, the sunrise spilling gold over the city rooftops. By mid-morning, the lot was a patchwork of seedlings, and the volunteers celebrated with a spontaneous thank you chorus, their voices echoing down the street. The garden will feed families and bloom through the seasons, a living reminder that community thrives when we nurture each other. That's the promise of a sunrise shared.
On a crisp Saturday morning in downtown Montreal, a small crowd gathered outside the historic Bell Centre, clutching coffee cups and maple leaf scarves as the city's newest hockey hero stepped onto the sidewalk. Carey Price, from his Hall of Fame announcement, was flanked by 3 legends whose names echo through every neighborhood rink, each a reminder of the province's deep love for the game. The air smelled of fresh-baked bagels from a nearby boulangerie, and a group of elementary school kids perched on a low wall, eyes wide as they listened to Price recount the night he learned he'd been elected in the player category. He spoke of the first time he skated on the frozen St. Lawrence River, the sound of skates biting into ice, and the community that lifted him from a shy boy in the Plateau to a global icon. When the mayor presented a commemorative key to city, the crowd erupted in a chorus of merci that lingered after the cameras faded. It was a moment that reminded every Montrealer that greatness is built on shared dreams, and that home is wherever love for the game lives.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us this morning. Today we saw the city move forward with new flood defenses after the West Island flash floods, a reminder of our resilience. Stay tuned for more local news tomorrow at sunrise. From all of us at GMNA, have a wonderful day.